Hi, I'm Hadley from She Rises Here. Thanks so much for joining me for your practice today. We are working through a Pilates mat workout, and I have a thicker booty band that we're using today. So if you have something like this at home, go ahead and snag it. If you have more of a plastic or like a rubber band instead with a booty band, more than welcome to use it. If you don't have any of that, body weight is just fine. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and get started on the mat. So we'll begin today's practice with the band on, and it'll come above the knees on each side. I'm starting with my feet about hip distance, and hands are just going to be down long side towards the hips. Start to feel the connection of your core with the sensation of your breath. So we'll take an inhale in through the nose. And then exhale, as you blow that breath out, contract your core. Again, inhale, breathe in. Exhale, contract the core. Now, as you continue, noticing that you're keeping a little bit of tension on the band. And so there's some resistance that's happening each time that you inhale and exhale with these thighs. One more time, breathing in. And exhale. Beautiful. Same breath connection, that inhale through the nose, the exhale out through the mouth, but now we're moving into our bridge. So we inhale to begin, and then exhale, begin to roll up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Lifting up to the top as you take an inhale. Exhale, begin to set the body back down, one vertebrae at a time, resisting the tension of the band. So we'll move through this a few times, and I want you to feel again this core connection to help lift you, as well as the squeeze into the glutes. Noticing as we're lifting and lowering, we're not overly arching the back or trying to let the ribs flare to maintain that nice long spine and good core connection. And we'll roll up and down just a few more times before we add our hold. We'll add some more movement here with this band. So last two. And rolling back down. And this last time, when you lift yourself up, hold the tension of the hips lifted, hold the tension of the band. Right leg only, I'm gonna pull out and then back through to center. And again, right hip only, opening, back through to center. It's like I'm rolling very slightly to the pinky edge of my foot, all while trying to maintain that my left hip stays really grounded, not getting pulled around as I open up through my right. So we'll emphasize a little bit more squeeze here into the glutes. Abs, of course, stay contracted to find stability. And we'll take it just for these last three. Breathing two. And that last one, once you're back through to center, roll down again through the spine. Take a moment, just let your knees relax. So feel some release of the band. Knees can come together. Just let your breath be easy. All right, and then when you're ready, bring that tension again. So it's just a touch wider than hip distance. Let's roll back up into that bridge. Once you're in your bridge, right leg is now staying still. It's the left hip that we're opening just slightly out. Now I'm only pushing out as far as I'm able to really keep my right side still and stable. And we'll take this just a few more times. Continue to feel that zip up through the core. Continue to feel, of course, that glute squeeze and those hamstrings working to keep those hips lifted. We breathe for the last three. Open for two. And this last one, again, lower all the way back down. Let the knees relax, just let them knock in through to center for a moment. We have one more variation. Instead of our articulated bridge, we're gonna move into a hinge bridge. So feet again, create some space, knees are open, band has tension. On the exhale, lift the hips straight up. Inhale, tap back down with control. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Continue with that just flat back, lifting and lowering, still maintaining again ribs from overly flaring, maintaining your back staying nice and long. We have 3 more before we lift and hold. Good, take it for 2. Belly stays contracted, lift on this next one, pause. Now, little pulses through both hips against the tension of that band. Good, we breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1 from your upper back. Let's roll down through the spine. Okay, we'll take the band off for the moment. And once the band moves off to the side, let's start where we just reach our arms and legs long, feeling that stretch. And then begin to curl the right knee in towards the chest, right hand across the front of the knee, left hand's towards the shin, float the left leg, and we'll switch, single leg pull. And we switch. So noticing as you're pulling that we're not rocking front to back, we're not rocking from side to side. So we're really gonna try to keep ourselves anchored through to center. I wanna feel just a very subtle pull on the thigh and work to keep my chest lifted by engaging these upper abdominals. Continue to reach for 4, 3, 2, last one, both knees in, relax your head and shoulders. Let's keep the right knee bent and then left leg will reach all the way long, getting ready for a single leg jackknife. My left arm moves down to the side and right arm will reach back behind. Take a breath in, exhale. As I lift, I reach and lower back on the inhale. So I'm rolling slightly to that left forearm to help lift and push down to get my chest up just a little higher. Lifting my leg at the same time, so then you feel that connection of your hip flexors, those quads working, all in connection with your core and your breath. We'll have these last 2 on this side. This last one, when you lift up, can you hold it? And we lower away and crunch back up. Lower away, crunch back up. Nice and steady. The leg lowers, I lean back just that inch or 2, crunch back up for 4, 3, 2. That last one, lower the leg, reach both arms and legs long as you just take a nice full breath in and a full breath out. Let's bend now the left knee. Left arm can stay back as the right leg now stays long, and my right hand will come down along towards the side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift and reach. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift and reach. Now, if you'd like a little extra challenge, when you reach the right leg down, keep the leg hovering versus letting it go all the way to the mat. If you'd like that pause, of course, let the leg fully relax. Good, we'll take it again 3 more times. Okay, we have these last 2. Can feel my voice tremble as I lift up. Good, last one. When you lift, hold, and again, little pulses. Active point through the toes. We feel like we're engaged from the toes to the calf to the quad, all the way up to the core for 4, 3, 2, on 1, whew, lower down. Arms reach long, legs reach long. Big breath in and out. And then as you take your arms down long to your side, begin to nod the chin to the chest, roll up through your spine. Let's bring our booty band back on, and we'll come to place ourselves up onto our hands and knees. Tabletop position to begin. Fingers spread wide, and the knees are underneath the hips as shoulders rest over the wrists. Keep the left knee anchored, right hip and knee open out to the side, and then we'll kick the leg back against the tension. So this is one of the reasons I really like a fabric band that has then that grip on the inside, because the band then doesn't roll. Sometimes with those rubber and or plastic ones, right, they can tend to roll up and down. So the fabric one just stays nice and still, and we're able to stay focused on the movement. Like I said though, if you don't have a fabric, that's okay. Body weight, or just use what you have. And we're gonna keep this combination of our fire hydrant to then extension of the leg. And I'm flexing into my glutes each time I kick the leg back. And I'm trying to find that core connection as well each time the leg extends and comes in. Let's take it for these last two. Now this last one, can you hold? Come down onto your left forearm. Keep your right arm slightly open. We're gonna take little pulses with that straight leg against that tension. Good, keep pressing. Gentle flex back into that right foot for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Whew. We'll take it down. Lift yourself up onto your knees. And again, walk the knees just a few inches wider so you can feel a little bit of resistance of the band. Now, if up-down movement doesn't feel good on your knees because you need more padding, get a towel, get a pillow, just fold it up underneath your knees. If that still doesn't feel good, just stay lifted and focus on the upper body only. This next variation, we sink our bum back and then we lift and open. We sink, lift, and open. Noticing when you're lifting and we're opening the arms that we're not overly thrusting the hips forward. I want you to feel like there's a magnet on the crown of your head reaching you up towards the ceiling as those ribs gently knitting in through to center. Good, we'll take it again for these last 3. Trying to feel again that tension of the band each time we lift for 2. Next time, hold the arms, hover back, and circle through the shoulders. Circle through those arms. Maintaining your flat back position, maintaining that core engagement, zipping up and away from the hips and thighs. Continue circling through your arms. We'll switch directions in 3, 2, on 1, switch the direction. It's not a huge range. We want to keep this a little bit smaller so we can find that sense of control. The body's not getting overly pulled around with the momentum of the arms. We start to feel a little burn for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back down onto your hands and knees. Hands find the mat right underneath the shoulders again. Right knee now will stay down. It's our left knee that opens with the hip and then kicking that leg back behind into the tension. So I open and kick. I'm trying to feel that exhale, belly contracting, not only as I open, but also a little bit on the return. So again, I feel like I'm not wobbling too much through the pelvis, through my trunk, or even through my shoulders. We'll continue. We have a few more times of this combo on this side before we have that semi-evil pulse with the left leg long. I definitely feel it still in my right glute. Good, last 3. Flexing, remember, into that glute muscle. Belly stays contracted for 2. And then this next time, as you kick back, can you take your right forearm down and then left arms open, flex through the foot, little pulses. Little pulses. Good, feel that effort into the hamstring. Reach up into your seat. Abs re-engage, so as you're kicking the leg up, we don't feel a lot of movement here through the low back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent job. Let's go ahead again, come through to our seat. We'll take our band off for the moment. And I'll have you just place it down along to the side where it's accessible. Starting where you're sitting up nice and tall, facing towards the front of your mat. Arms reaching forward, we start to scoop through the belly, rolling again all the way down until you come to your mat. Bring your left knee into your chest. Send the right leg long, and then let's extend the left leg up high into the sky. Take a moment where we rotate through the ankles. I always like to do this one because our feet, our ankles, our toes, they don't get enough attention. And they have joints just like the rest of our body does. Switch the direction of that circle. Steady with your breath. And then as you pause through to center, float your right leg. Begin to curl up head, chest, and shoulders, bringing the hands just a little bit higher up the back of the leg. And we'll start to switch. And we switch. Trying to feel that very gentle pull each time you bring a thigh towards yourself, but without the rocking, without that teeter-tottering sensation of either front to back or side to side. Continue reaching for these last 4, 3, 2, on 1, hug the knees in, relax the head and shoulders. So we'll reach for our band, and the band is actually gonna go up around the forearms. So just a little lower than the wrist, just so them to feel like the wrists aren't getting pulled around. And this band is a little bit more dense, so I'm not gonna be able to pull it super far apart without it starting to strain into my neck. So it's more just to keep these arms in a similar position. Shoulders activate down onto the back. I want you to imprint your spine, so belly's connected. From here, one leg lifts at a time into a tabletop, and then keep some tension on the band. We'll tap the right heel forward and down. Exhale, lift to stack. Inhale, lower. Exhale, stack. Notice as you move through this that your shoulders don't start to come off of the mat and your low back is not pulling away from the mat each time. Especially as you're dropping the heel down. That's what we really want to look for, keeping our back still in that imprinted position. Good, we'll take this just a few more times. Can definitely feel that burn on my forearms, reaching up into those shoulders for 4. We reach 3, 2, and that last one, and then relax the arms down for a moment. Excellent. I'm gonna have you take your band, place it onto the arches of the feet, and oftentimes when I've done this movement, and you wanna keep a little flex just so the band doesn't fall off, what I was saying is oftentimes when I do this movement, it's usually with a less dense band. So if your band is super thick, you might just wanna think about doing this without a band versus with. Setting up for a crisscross, legs float into a tabletop. I'm gonna keep a nice flex of my feet again onto the band, curl up head, chest, and shoulders, and as I press the tension away, I'm gonna rotate towards that opposite knee and thigh. Hands behind the back of the head are soft, so we're not yanking on the neck. I'm really having to flex and push into that leg to start to strengthen deeper hip flexors here. Continue with this rotation. Good, we breathe. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, relax. Let's go ahead, let the band move off to the side. Let your feet go to about the width of the mat, and then I like to open my arms out nice and wide, take up some space. Dropping the knees from one side to the other. And I'm gonna feel this opening, not only through the outer hip, but also feeling this gentle rotation through the spine. So feeling that movement, that mobility, taking notice of maybe tension feels a little, different from one side of the body to the other. That's pretty normal, but it's things to pay attention to nonetheless. We'll windshield wiper just this last time over to one side. And then as you come back through to center, go ahead and take the soles of the feet together. Let the knees open. And if you like, know that you're always welcome to place like pillows or anything underneath the thighs if you're feeling a lot of tension at the hips. The hands will just come to rest to the belly and the eyes will gently close for a moment. I want you to feel into that expansion again, into your hands with your breath, with your belly. But on your exhale this time, just let your breath feel soft and relaxed. Just letting it go. We'll take that a few more times as you deep inhale and exhale. Good, 2 more. Letting it go. Feeling the hips heavy last time, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Eyes can flutter back open. Come to bring the knees back together as you then extend those legs all the way back out long. We reach from fingertips to toes and then begin to circle the arms towards the hips, nod the chin to chest, and we roll all the way up through the spine. All right, my friends, that is what I have for us today. Nice big effort here through the hips and glutes, feeling that support of our core. Another Pilates mat class on the books. Come join me next time, and if you like what you experienced, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you get updates when I release our new episodes. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.